Penn State Greater Allegheny Athletics. I'm Zach Ziegler. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Coach Chat. Once again, joined by Penn State Greater Allegheny head baseball coach Eric Kuczma. And Eric, yesterday we were talking a little bit about the senior leadership on this team. Going to go a little more in depth about each one of these guys. We'll start with the top two on your pitching staff, Dan Daly and Luke Pattison. They're really trying to lead this club in their senior year. What about them makes them tick and makes them work the way they do?
Well, first of all, I wanted to give you credit. I think you do a great job as our sports information director. The best man to do the job since Jim Heath was down at Apprentice. And I had to say, yesterday's edition of Coach's Chat, I think that's a Tony Award winner right there. Just send it in and you win the award. Pattison and Daly. Luke, he's had a lot of wins here over his college career. He's done a great job for us in the past. His biggest thing is he's a lead by example guy. Anytime, the pitchers are kind of like the sniper unit. They're their separate attachment. So when we're doing things with the position guys, they're kind of off on their own, doing their own thing. He always makes sure those guys are getting their work in, whether it's band work, whether it's the drive line, whether it's the throwing program, flat ground work. He's kind of the quiet leader. Anytime you look over, he's doing what he's supposed to do, and that says a lot about his character. And again, he's not a rah-rah guy, but he's definitely a leader for our pitching staff. Daly is kind of a different animal, he has the long hair and the carefree attitude. But again, he's put his work in here. He's gotten some good wins for us and in our program. And we look forward to a lot of good things coming up from him. I mean, both of those guys over the last week, our target number for first pitch strikes is 60%. Pattison was, I think, at 62, and Daly was at 70. So both of those guys, have a good approach, trying to fill up the strike zone, on or out in 3 pitches or less. Those guys have been doing a pretty good job of that.
And then we move from the mound back right behind them, the middle infielder. You have 2 veteran middle infielders who've been working with each other for a while, Adam Jacko and Zach Pollock. They both provide stability in that defensive side of the ball. What do they bring to the club in terms of leadership, both on the defensive side and then on the offensive side as well?
Well, defensively, it's so important to have those 2 middle infielders not only on the same page, but being strong defensively. And one of the things that's great about having those guys out there, 2 hard workers. And, even you see it in the throwing program. We always preach about getting work on the backside, working on whether it's relay exchanges, double play, pivot exchanges. When you're receiving the baseball, you don't even have to tell them. They're working on it. They have great chemistry together. Again, they've been playing with each other for quite some time, and that's so important. They are especially Pollock. Pollock's a little bit more vocal than Jacko, but they're both definitely leaders in the infield. All of the different systems that we have in place as far as holding runners and things like that, they know it inside and out, and they do a great job from the defensive side of really being the glue to keep that infield working smoothly. Offensively, both of them are one of our better. Both of them are some of our better hitters. I was looking over some of the numbers earlier. I think Pollock is second in OPS. Jacko's done a great job as our leadoff guy of getting on base a lot. And so that's kind of what they bring to the table. It's going to be hard to replace them, just again because we have such a solid foundation up the middle, offensively and defensively.
Currently joined by head baseball coach Eric Kuczma, talking about some of the senior leadership on this team. And you have a power bat right in the middle of your lineup, Josh Arroyo. He had that walk-off win last week against Lackawanna. What does he bring to the middle of your lineup in terms of power and driving guys in?
Well, Paco is what Paco is. He's a big guy that's going to swing the bat and look to drive the ball to the outfield. He's not going to be a punch and Judy guy trying to, hit a little fillet of fish over the second baseman's head. And I have a special relationship with Paco just because when I was an assistant here, he was a freshman. So I've kind of had, a chance to see him really grow up in terms of just a person and a player over the past number of years. He is a great positive, always positive influence around the team. And, man, when he runs into one, it's going to go. You know what I mean? And we were looking at some of the spray charts, and we had to laugh because everything is pull side. But that's what he's there for. He's in the middle of that lineup to drive the baseball and knock some runs in.
And another guy who's not yet in his senior season on the field, but's been around the program for a while, Dylan Ernst. He really controls the outfield, playing center field, leads the team right now with 9 RBIs. Talk a little bit about his contributions and how he has helped shape this team.
Well, offensively, I think he leads the club in extra base hits as well. He is a high-energy guy. Let's just say that. He cares an awful lot about his performance. And I know it's so cliche, but sometimes we have to reel him in because he gets so, again, if he has a bad at bat, you know about it. But he's done a great job for us in center field. He's the most veteran guy that we have out in the outfield, and he's always, really driving the fellow outfielders, even things like communication, finding the fence in back. He does a great job of kind of being the captain of the outfielders. And he's another big part of the middle of our lineup. He's going to drive the ball. He can run a little bit. And again, it feels like he's been around forever, even though he's technically a junior. He's just always been around the program for years and years and years. And I don't know, sometimes can't wait for him to go, and sometimes I want him to stick around for 5 more years. But again, he's a natural influence in the outfield.
And finally, you mentioned before you were an assistant on this team, now serving as a head coach. So you've been with this team through many years. Kind of compare this senior leadership class to classes of the past and how they're helping to mold the team.
Well, I mean, the classes of the past, I mean, they each team has its own personality. That's all I can say about that. Some of those teams in the past were a bunch of goofballs, okay, but always got their work in. Some of those teams were more fiery. I think on our team right now, we have a lot of lead by example guys. I know that Dylan and Pollock have kind of stepped up as more of the vocal leaders. I don't know what to say about those guys. I mean, we tried, like I talked to you about yesterday, we tried to really put the younger players with these guys and let them kind of be a role model, let them kind of be a positive influence. And the one thing I'll say about our seniors, every single one of them is a positive influence. I mean, all those guys get their work in. They're always down to help, answering questions. I know Patizan with the pitching staff, he's always trying to chart and listen, here's how I would work this guy. And hopefully, you're starting to see it. Some of the younger guys are really starting to pick the brains of the older guys. And it's good to see. It's good to have that strong foundation of upperclassmen to, again, show the ropes to some of the younger players.
Thanks, Eric. And once again, good luck in the games this weekend.
Mail this one in. This is an Emmy Award winner.
For Penn State Greater Allegheny Athletics, I'm Zach Ziegler.